Welcome to the Bejam van tour. So as promised, the van tour has arrived. And there she is in all her glory. I think this video is going to take a little while because I'm just going to go through everything. So let's get straight into it. She's a 2012 long wheelbase high top Mercedes Sprinter van. They do one bigger than extra high top and extra long wheelbase, but for me this one is absolutely perfect. I think I paid about £7,000 for it, and it had done 102,000 miles when I bought it. It's now done about 110 with all my trips to Scotland and whatever else I've been doing over the last year. So goodbye, I think. So other than the windows being cut in the van, the only real modifications I've made to the actual van itself is the bonnet bra, which I literally bought and put on there because it had a few dents and chips in the bonnet, which I will eventually get wrapped in, and I'll get it all painted in so it'll look lovely. And the other thing, that was like 20 quid by the way, off eBay, that was it. So cheap modification, which I think actually looks pretty cool. And the other thing that I did, the obvious change, is my big fancy wheels and tyres. Now when I say big fancy wheels and tyres, the only thing that's actually new is the tyres. The wheels are the original Mercedes Sprinter steel wheels that came with the van. The only difference is I had them powder coated at Aero Coat in Great Yarmouth, just to make them look a bit better because they were just rusty, horrible metal colour before. And then since I had the wheels off, I literally put the biggest tyres I could get on the van because it looks cool, mainly because it looks cool, but also it has actually given me like a good probably couple of inches clearance under the van. Now one thing I have found is I have bottomed out this van a few times, especially down in Cornwall and Scotland when the roads are a bit rough. So since having these tyres on, that's definitely helped. So in my mind, a good modification to the van and well worth doing. The other obvious change is the windows that have been cut in. There's one big sliding door window in here, and then round the other side there is the little slidey window for above the bed, which is absolutely invaluable by the way. I had a company in Ipswich called Ipswich Car Glass and Trim that put those in for a couple of hundred quid, well worth it. The only thing that I wish I had done at that stage was cut another window in here, because sometimes you have to park the van in a certain way to get like a nice view of the sea or whatever. So it just would have been nice to have another window cut in here. So if you're doing your own van, I would definitely recommend putting a few more windows in. On top of the van, there's a couple of changes. One change is obviously the Fiamma roof light or roof fan or whatever you want to call it. Now this is absolutely crap, don't buy one. I think it's called a Fiamma 28 or 280 turbo or something. It's cheap, it's nasty, it's crap. If you're going to put a roof skylight in your van, or a roof fan, sorry, get the Max Air all the way. It's 10 times better than this bloody thing. Even the way it's fitted is a lot better. So it works fine for me. I finally got it, so it doesn't leak now, so I'm not going to replace it, but I wouldn't recommend it. The other obvious change is obviously my big solar panels. Now I have a massive solar system on this van. In fact, probably too big for the van. But for me, it works absolutely perfect. I can work full time from this van. We'll go through the electrics in a little while in a bit more detail, but I can stay off grid forever in this van. I've never ever got remotely low of power, and that is because I've got two 265 watt solar panels on the roof of my van. Now look at the beast. They're literally house solar panels, and they're attached to, like, I can't remember what brand it is. It's a Rhino roof rack, but if you have a look at it, it's a Rhino roof rack that's actually trimmed down just to make it look a bit neater. And then these are whisker adaptable boxes, just taking cables back through the van. So yeah, that is my solar panel. The other thing is this, which this big light here, which is an Amazon special. That came off, well, Amazon, funnily enough. It's basically the same light as what you'd put on the front of your car or your Land Rover or your big off-roader. I put it up there because when you're parked in car park or woods or wherever at night time and you want plenty of light out of the van, that thing will light up everything. It's absolutely brilliant. I'll try and cut a picture in now of what it looks like lit up, because it is awesome. So that's the top of the van, that's around the van. Let's get underneath the van. I've parked in the wrong place, haven't I, to be laying down, but let's do it anyway. Okay, so under here we have 3 separate tanks. We have the water tank here. It's actually the grey water tank. So this takes water from the bath, which I've got in there. We'll come to that in a second. And the sink. This is a 50 litre tank, and you basically just drain it out with that tap there. Now I have got an electric solenoid valve, which I will fit on here eventually. I just haven't got round to it yet. So that there, I'll show you in a second, is the waste from the cupboard in the kitchen. As well as that, we have this here, which is a 23 litre LPG tank, bolted under the van. This thing has actually been absolutely brilliant. And then the filler point is that over there, which I will show you in a second as we step into the van. So that's the LPG tank, which I plumbed all in myself. There's videos of all of this going in, by the way, if you want to rummage back through my videos. And then over there somewhere, let's go over to there, shall we? So that bad boy there with the red cap is actually my fresh water tank. That's a 70 litre fresh water tank. Now both of my water tanks came off eBay. I'm not really getting a very good shot of this, but they're strapped underneath there. They came as a complete kit that you just mounted up. There's so much stuff in this video that I won't put all the links in this one video, but if you have any questions about any of this stuff, drop me a message and I will reply. I'll reply to every single comment that I get. So other than that, that is well, the 2 tanks, the 2 water tanks and the gas tank is all I have under here. So yeah, everything's underneath the van and out of the way. Let's get in the van. Before we actually step in the van, let's show you this filler cap. So this here is the LPG filler gap. Now any garage which sells auto gas or LPG you can use to fill this bad boy up. So they have in most places in the country. I have struggled when I'm right out of the way to find somewhere to fill up, but most of the time it's okay. I think about 12 quid fills it up, and in the winter time it will last me about a week. In the summertime it will last me about a month, because obviously you just never use it. So absolutely brilliant, chuffed with that. So let's go in. Obviously this is the bit that you've all been waiting for, the actual van build itself. This is where all the hard work went, to be honest. So where should we start? Should we start the kitchen and just kind of work my way around the van? Yeah, let's do it. So to start with, this is obviously my kitchen in all her glory. So it's mainly built of MDF. All these panels are all MDF. They're made by like 1.5 by 1.5 batten. There's a time-lapse video of this whole van going in, so you can see those. There's also a couple of videos of the kitchen build itself, so if you want to scroll back you can see all this being built. Appliance wise, so actually before that, let's go back to the kitchen. This is the one I'll just talk about. This is a solid bit of ash, which has been resin filled down a crack and is rubbing down and finishing off, but it looks absolutely pucker. Got it from a tree surgeon down the road from me, and then I had a lady who builds boats for a living help me push it in. Again, all that is on the videos in my channel, so just scroll back through. I do have a 240 volt pop-up socket in here, which is pretty handy. I actually use that all the time. So that's the kitchen itself. MDF doors, got some little chrome handles from Wix. That's how the kitchen itself was built. So if we get into appliances, this here is a Dometic CRX 50 litre fridge. Now this stuff is not cheap. It's like 550 quid or 500 quid this fridge, but it's absolutely brilliant. So being a compressor fridge, there's no gas supplies like there is on caravans or anything like that. It is purely electric. It's very, very low current, and it's really, really quiet, and it's also really efficient. There's a freezer section in here as well, with some freezer stuff in, and you can make it all a freezer or all a fridge, or you can split it up as I have it right now. So definitely would recommend this fridge. They do this in all sorts of different sizes, so I would highly recommend getting that sort of fridge for your van if you're building one. Next we'll move on to the cooker, shall we? Now this is a Thetford triplex cooker. I think it was £450 or £400, around that mark. Now I didn't want to put just a hob in my van because I wanted to be able to cook everything, in other words pizza and chips, because I'm a bloke. So I put a proper oven in. Again, we've cooked all sorts on this. We've cooked pizza and chips pretty much, and a lot of other stuff. Again, not everyone puts proper ovens in their van, but I wouldn't do it any other way, to be honest. So that's the kitchen, or the cooker and the fridge. Now you'll see in the corner here we have a level gauge for the water. Water tanks are empty at the moment, and this is a gauge for the gas, for the LPG tank underneath the van. So I just put those there because they were nice tucked in out of the way, and next to the cooker and next to the sink. So moving on to the sink. This here, I can't remember what type of tap it is altogether. Again, it was only a cheap one. I think it was an eBay special. If you want to know where the tap come from, give me a shout and I'll send you the link on eBay. Oh, it was eBay, but in the comments below. And then also the sink. This sink is quite a deep, big sink. That came from eBay. Again, it's a lot bigger sink than most people put in the vans, but again, I want a space. I didn't want to be restricted. This thing came from IKEA, as well as this little cutlery shelf here, or this little shelf, not really a cutlery shelf, is it? Jar shelf. So yeah, that's the kitchen really. So before I go too much further, I will just talk about how the van itself was built. So I had the whole van spray insulated because I don't agree really with the Celotex route. I think it's absolutely rubbish. I think it leaves gaps between the metalwork of the van and the Celotex. It's a controversial view in the van world, but I wouldn't put Celotex in my van. I had the whole thing spray insulated like you would a garage or a farm building roof. They're tin, they're metal. The spray insulation stops condensations. There's loads of benefits for it, so I wouldn't have it any other way. It had a company in Chelmsford called Spray Installations Limited, fun enough to that. They were 700 quid, but I drove down to Chelmsford for the morning, and by dinner time they'd sprayed out the whole van and I can get straight on with boarding it. So to me, save loads of time. A little bit expensive, but not that much more money than what you spend on Celotex. So again, there's videos of all that being done if you scroll back through my channel. Now after the spray installation, I obviously wired it, plumbed it. We'll get to that in a second. And then I basically got all this shiplap, or not shiplap, tongue and groove board. It's all the same in the ceiling and the sides, and it's all from Wix. I can't remember what size it is. It's maybe like 90mm by like 4.5mm or something. It's only thin, light pine. So that's all I've cladded the whole van out with that. And then the floor, as you can see, this is like a hardwood laminate, again from Wix. Not expensive. I've got dogs in the van, so I want a hard floor. So again, just scroll back from my videos, it's all there. So yeah, that's how the van itself was built. All the cupboards, all these, this is the same as the kitchen really. It was all MDF fronts. It's made by, like, you can see, like this 2x2 sort of batten framework. Big long cupboard this side, and then a little cupboard this side. So yeah, that's how the van itself went together before I started piling all this in there. So yeah, since we're now on the kitchen again, we'll get to the boiler, shall we? So here we have a Truma Combi 4E boiler. Now every van builder will know that this is the boiler to have for your van. It is absolutely brilliant. It's the only boiler on the market, I believe, that does both hot water and heating. So like a diesel heater, but much better. It uses a heat exchanger system, so it's got a 10 litre boiler in there, 10 litre water tank in there, which then heats the water and it circulates air around the outside of it, and then it pumps out through these ducts into the van, so it works like a heat exchanger. Again, absolutely brilliant. Within 10 minutes the whole thing's warm. The van in the winter time keeps toasty, so a lot of money, 1,500 quid for that bad boy, but worth every single penny. Now, boiler's there, stuffed in my kitchen cupboard, and then I have up here a control unit. So passion wagon, ignore that. This here is the combi boiler control panel, if you like. So you can flick it over here, have it on a timer if you want, set the fan speed, what have you. so you can set the temperature of the van, whatever you want it to be. It's obviously off now. And then you can set the water as well, during a hot, eco mode, off, boost. So again, very, very good. This is my this is the control panel for my solar. So at the minute I'm drawing in 67.7 volts. Battery is sitting at 12.8 volts, and I haven't got this side connected, so ignore that. These are all my light switches, which is actually just household light switches. But there's one switch there, and there's actually a another switch over here, so everything is two-way, like your hallway lights would be at home. Because why not? Next to my bed. These are all USB sockets. There's a couple of bed lights there. The ceiling lights are just spotlights. I got those from my local wholesaler, Beacon Light, so check those out. I've got actually all my lights from them except for the big floodlight up here. So yeah, back to the cupboard. So plumbing wise, again, there's videos on how I did all the plumbing, so I won't go into too much detail. There's a SureFlow diaphragm pump, so it draws water from the tank. It sucks water from the tank itself. Tank hasn't got to be gravity fed or anything like that. That's good. There's a little filter there. This is all 12mm press fit pipe work. This is an accumulator, so it just keeps the system pressurized, so it's not constantly running. So the only time, if you ever hear that thing running at night, ticking over, then you've got a leak somewhere. Now that has helped me before. At some point a while ago, the Truma was leaking at one of these joints, and that kept going off. And anyway, I sat in bed thinking, what's going on here? And I had a check round, because obviously the pump was kept running, and yeah, I had a leak. So I'm glad about that. Well, glad that was running to let me know. That's the plumbing. Obviously this is the waste for the sink, and as I said earlier, that pipe goes under the floor or through the floor, and then off it goes to that waste grey water tank underneath, which we mentioned earlier. This here is a 240 volt switch for the boiler if I'm ever on hookup. Never ever used it. These are the isolators. For the one that's off is the pump, the other two are for the fridge and the cooker ignition. These pipes here are all my duct in for my heating, so that one that comes down just here, look, is actually that one there, and then there's another one back there, and there's another one in the garage area, and there's another one in the cab to keep all the van the same temperature. So that if I ever turn it on, the thermostat for it is here, and that keeps the van, the cab and the garage area all at the same temperature, so there's no condensation. So yeah, works really well. Sorry if I'm like rushing through this, skipping through. I'm just trying to get everything out. There's loads to explain in this bloody van, isn't there? But like I said, there's videos on every individual part of this van build throughout my whole YouTube channel, so please feel free to go and check it out. If you've got any questions, give me a shout, because I will answer you. I just remembered something actually while I'm in here. There's the there's the manifold and the isolators for the gas in here. So this pipe here goes from the LPG tank, and these two outlets, one is for this here, which is the boiler, and the other one is for the cooker, so that's also in the cupboard. I am definitely jumping about fairly, but I'm just trying to get everything out. So yeah, that is the kitchen area and the appliances, if you like. We should move around to now the seating area and the bathroom and the toilet and everything else this is, shall we? So this is my glorious seating area. At the moment it's a seating area. Some cushions, obviously I wanted this because I wanted to be able to lay across, and this also all folds into another bed. So these cushions on the side here actually go in the middle and creates another double bed, so it actually then becomes a 4-berth van. I've used that before, that's absolutely brilliant. Now underneath that bed, well that seat, sorry, not bed, is a bath. Absolutely brilliant. So that's my bathtub. I've got a shower head in there, and what I do is I pull my shower curtain up, and my shower curtain hooks onto these bad boys here, and then that is how I wash. Now again, I'll put a link in the video now to the shower being used, or this whole area, sorry, being used, so you can see how it all works instead of me doing it all now. So yeah, that's good. So that's the shower or the bath underneath that seat. This seat is more under here, sorry, is a Thetford 365 toilet. Oh, there's a 365 toilet porta potty. Again, I don't really use that because I'm a man, but Mrs. Deb, she uses it all the time. And also under here, there's a shed load of storage space which I keep my dog food, funnily enough. The table, if I do say so myself, is genius. So that is down, tucked out of the way as it is. You can fold this over like this and then put the cushions in the middle like I said, and that becomes your bed. Also, bear with me 1 second. It's also a table. So this is a yacht table leg off eBay. I think it was about 150 quid, something like that, 100 quid. But again, pretty good. Everyone does them a little bit differently. That's just how I do it. Some people put the pull-out table, what have you. So this is one of those like, you know, like the drawers that you have in your kitchen where you push them in and pop them out. That's all that is, those drawer runners. And then this folds over. So you got a nice big table. All that table is a piece of plywood covered in shoe leather, which a friend of mine at Jad Shoes did for me. So that's it. There's me table. So you got a table, you got a bed, you got a bathroom, you got a toilet, and you got a lounge, all in one usable space. I should also mention at this stage actually that I do have a projector in the van. There's a suction pad here which the projector sticks to, as you can see. And then again, there's a video on this. Go look at my projector video, and then I basically hang a big screen up off here, down here, and that is how we chill at night with the projector running. I do also have Wi-Fi in here. I have a 3, which is not in here at the minute, which annoyingly, I have a 3 MiFi, which is like 20 quid a month. I don't have one of these fancy Netgear systems. I just have one of those because I didn't want to spend a lot of money putting Wi-Fi in there. But that works absolutely well. So if you want Wi-Fi in your van, get one of those 3 MiFi things. They're cheap as chips and they're generally pretty good for signal. So I do all my videos, upload all my videos with it, so can't knock it. What's next? The bed. Should we do the bed? So the bed was, fun enough, built around my bike. So in the back there, in the garage area, lives all my bikes. So I literally built the bed around my bikes. In fact, the whole van was built around my bikes and biking. So the bed itself is a complete memory foam mattress. I can't remember what the company is, but again, there's a video on all this, and I actually, it's a king size mattress which we trimmed down and made fit. But honestly, I get a better night's sleep in this van on that mattress I do in my own bed at home. It's absolutely brilliant. So we went to Groupon and got that. It was 109 quid and we butchered it, and it's brilliant. I really cannot knock it. So that is the van itself. Anything more to discuss on there? Probably. I'm always missing something. I'm just blitzing through this. Let's go into the back. I'll show you the garage area and I'll show you the electrics. This is my garage. So we'll start around the edge and then we'll work our way in. I basically boxed all this in with ply, the outside, and then Deb's dad, who's he's a floor layer. He carpeted for me, done a great job of that. This here is a nice bit of furniture board from, not furniture board, I guess it is furniture board, hard board, I don't know, soft board, whatever it's, bit board from Wix, which I chucked up here, and I literally put these hooks up just to make it usable, like hanging stuff. Normally there's helmets and stuff hanging on here, so that is that. The garage area itself, as you can see, normally I've got 3 bikes in there. I've only got that one in here at the moment because the other ones are in for service. I basically built a big drawer, so all this, as you can see, oh, well, that was awkward, pulls out. It actually comes right out, so I can take my bikes off and stuff. It's just makes it a bit more usable, because before I had the drawer in, I'd get my bikes out and to get the stuff, you were just climbing in there, and it just wasn't practical really. So I built this big drawer. Again, there was a video on the drawer being made, and this just clicks back in beautifully. I better drop this back in again. Well, I'll say there actually. Got these bike mounts off the Dreads, actually, look, Dreads. So Google Dreads, or go on Instagram, Dreads, if you want these. You can use Bejam Van 10, I think, as a discount code still. I'm sure that still works. And then he will supply you the right bike mounts for your bike. So they're all a bit different. This is for my jump bike, this one's for my full suspension mountain bike, and there's another one back there from a BMX. So that's my garage area. Chuffed with that. This boxing here, basically, I use this as an outside tap here, I've got to tell you. I use this outside tap for washing the dogs and washing the bikes, funny enough. It's quite handy, that. But I built this drawer, this little cupboard, just to stuff stuff in, like hose pipe, the leads if I ever connect up to a camp caravan park or whatever. But use a little space I chucked in there. This side is the side that you're probably more interested in. Move some stuff out of the way, shall we? Right, my electrics. My electrics is a pretty special, shall we say? Not your standard system. I'm an electrician by trade, so I kind of ignored everyone else's videos that they made on electrics and then made my own because I thought they're better. I'll put that out there, I'll say that. So we'll start with the batteries. I have 4 120 amp hour lead acid batteries. That gives me 480 amp hours of power, off-grid power, and it lasts me like weeks and weeks. Even if I don't get sunshine, I can sit in here on my laptop or on my computer working from the van, and it lasts me for weeks. But the solar, even in the sunshine, keeps me going. So brilliant. No one in their right mind needs that much power. To be fair, I could probably half that and still have enough power to last me for weeks. So really good. Again, I've got 3 videos explaining all of this, even how you pick your batteries, all sorts. So go and check those out. Now my electrics, I won't go into too much detail here because there's videos explaining all this on my channel. But at the top here we have that one over there is the main isolator from the batteries onto the 12 volt connections, connectors. This is my 12 volt side, so you've got, as you can see, undercover lights, your fan, your wall lights, your trimmer combi board, 12 volt supply, your garage lights, whatever. This is a lighting junction box. This is a 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter, which has been great. I have a changeover switch here because I don't like this whole thing where people chuck 2 separate sockets in there next door to each other and have one off grid and one 240. So it's silly. So I just put a changeover switch in, so if I'm connected to a caravan park, I'll flick it over one side, and then all my 240 board and all my sockets and my boiler is all live. If I'm connected off grid, like I am 99% of the time, I'll flick it over that side and everything works, and all the 240 works off the inverter. So saves double the wiring, doesn't it? It's all off one switch, so that's great. This is my MPPT solar charge controller. That's just obviously, as I just described, managing the solar side of the system. This is the incoming from the roof, that's the outgoing, and then it goes through this DC isolator, then off it goes to the batteries. That's that. This is a 240 volt socket, which has got my battery charger plugged into it, which I've never ever used, not once. That's supplied from this 240 volt fuse board, and then this big black cable actually runs around here to my hookup, my external caravan hookup. Again, never ever used it, but handy to have in case I ever do need to use it. So that's that. There's also under here, ignore all this, I haven't finished my van, I've got loads of spare wires, I went overkill in the first place. So this is my split charge relay. So those batteries are actually charged 3 ways, through the solar, through the MPP solar charge controller, through this split charge relay, which basically, once the starter battery of the van gets full, it diverts the power from the alternator onto these 4 batteries. So while I'm driving, those 4 batteries are charging. So that's one. Obviously one of my mains hook up as well. I've got this mains charger, which I've again never used, and then yeah, obviously the solar, which I said earlier. So that is how my batteries are run. Under here I've got LED strip lights, stuff which there's more under there. I'll be honest with you, I never actually use these lights. We just run everything. We literally just have, oh, my focus is crap. We run everything on these, so this is actually lovely. It's quite a nice sort of ambient light at night. So yeah. Have I covered? Oh, I'll put a reversing camera in as well. There's a video on me putting the reversing camera in, so check that out if you want. Again, I'll probably crash into all sorts of stuff. I didn't have that. So have I know I've literally, God, hang on. I know I've literally like blitzed through it, but there's so much to talk about, isn't there? There's just so much to go through with building a van. It's broken down into like 30 or 40 videos on my channel. Just scroll through and I'll try and sectionize this video. And like I said, if there's any questions, you have any queries on anything I've done in the van, you want to know where I got something from, you want to know how I did something, how I wired something, how I plumbed something, please just like leave me a comment, ask me, and I'll do my best to answer. I mean, I answer 99%, unless I get suddenly 5 million views on this and get a million comments, which I hardly doubt, then I'll be able to answer every single question. So that is it. I've definitely missed something. That's the Bejam van. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my quick rant through my van, but I'm proud of it. I really enjoy my van. It's pucker. To be fair, I've been all over the place in it, and I've got loads more trips to come. So make sure you subscribe to keep up with all the fun we're going to be having. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.